Ladies and gentlemen, please rise to welcome our platform party led by University of Maryland University College President Javier Miades, UMUC Acting Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs Blakely Pamietto, and the commander of the 988th Quartermaster Detachment Company, U.S. Army Reserve Captain Deshauna Barber. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please remain standing for our national anthem, performed by Jessica Lasker, one of today's graduates. Graduates, please leave your caps on during the national anthem. Our president will honor the flag on your behalf by removing his.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome University of Maryland University College President Javier Miades.
Good morning, graduates, family members, friends, colleagues, and honored guests. Our graduates have traveled many miles to walk across our stage. They have devoted many hours to earn their degrees. And as I look across the arena, I'm filled with a sense of pride for all that you have accomplished. I speak for everyone at UMUC when I say that it has been our honor to help you in the pursuit of your goals and your dreams. This year, UMUC celebrates its 70th anniversary, and today you represent our greatest achievement. And we are so proud to recognize and celebrate your success. I am also honored to offer a special salute to our active duty members of the U.S. military and to our veterans who are graduating today. Your service to our country has earned you the respect and admiration of a grateful nation, and we are so pleased that you selected UMUC as your university of choice. May I ask our graduating military service members, our veterans, and the members of their families to please stand up and be recognized. In addition, I would like to recognize the people who have supported our graduates in so many ways. Let us take a moment to thank the husbands, wives, partners, children, parents, grandparents, siblings, uncles, teachers, and dear friends who offer their love and encouragement along the road to this day. Thank you. The heart and soul of every university is its faculty. Today, we offer a special thanks to the more than 5,000 educators and mentors of our graduates worldwide. With the distinguished members of the UMUC faculty who are with us today representing our worldwide academic community, to please rise and be recognized. I would now like to introduce the members of the UMUC community who have joined us on the platform. Blakely Pamiero, Acting Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Catherine Close, Vice Provost and Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Cara Van Dam, Vice Provost and Dean of the Undergraduate School, Philip Callahan, President of the UMUC Alumni Association, Professor James Coker, Member of and Secretary of the Faculty Academic Advisory Board. We thank you all. And now it is my privilege to introduce William Shorter, Jr., the student member of the University System of Maryland Board of Regents, the governing body of UMUC and other public universities within the state of Maryland. Regent Shorter currently attends the University of Baltimore, where he is pursuing a Bachelor of Arts degree in interdisciplinary studies. Ladies and gentlemen, Regent William Shorter, Jr.
Thank you for that introduction, President Mieres. On behalf of the University System of Maryland Board of Regents, I would like to extend my warmest congratulations to the graduating class of 2017, their family, and friends. I am pleased to join you in my capacity as the student regent with the University System of Maryland Board of Regents. As you may know, many university system boards of regents have no student representation whatsoever, let alone a student who serves as a full member. It is a tremendous privilege and important duty to serve as the voice for the student population in this governing body. I will also let you guys in on my little secret. Out of all the students I get to represent, the students of UMUC inspire me the most because of your hard work ethic and determination. I will also like to extend my gratitude to President Mieres and his amazing team of senior leadership, faculty, and staff members who contributed to the success of each of the graduating students graduating today. I will also like to take a moment and congratulate UMUC for holding its first winter commencement ceremony. Judging by this amazing response to this edition, I imagine that this will be the first of many ceremonies to come. Today brings home your pursuit of pursuing the dream of an education. Despite working a full-time job, raising a family, or serving the armed services, you still transform your dream of obtaining an education into reality. While one dream is fulfilled today, a new chapter begins. Allow what you accomplish here today to position and challenge yourself to dream bigger and bolder. If you dare to do so, the beauty of your dreams will manifest itself into the change that's needed in our communities, state, and country. If each graduate dares to do their part, you'll be rewarded with a rich legacy that history will honor and an appreciation for the next generation to follow. Again, on behalf of the University System of Maryland Board of Regents, I would like to congratulate you on your special achievement. Thank you.
Thank you, Regent Shorter, for your words and your strong support of UMUC and our students. One of the greatest traditions of commencement is the keynote address. It is an opportunity to hear from someone whose achievements and words can inspire us all. This morning, we hear from Deshona Barber, an inspiring UMUC alumni, who is a captain in the U.S. Army Reserve, where she currently commands the 988th Quartermaster's Detachment Company in Rockville, Maryland. The daughter of a Army Master Sergeant who served in the Special Forces, she was commissioned as a Quartermaster officer in 2011, and 5 years later, on June 5th, 2016, she became the first woman serving in the military to be crowned Miss USA. During her years-long tenure as Miss USA, she partnered with a number of organizations that support military personnel and veterans, and she has been a tireless advocate for soldiers suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Deshona is now a full-time motivational speaker who travels the world discussing mental illness in the military, overcoming child abuse, diversity and inclusion, and the importance of being a fearless dream chaser. She earned her undergraduate degree from Virginia State University, and in 2015 earned her Master of Science in Management from UMUC. Please join me in welcoming this morning keynote speaker, Miss USA 2016, Captain Deshona Barber.
Thank you so much, President Miyares, for that introduction. And thank you so much to everyone at UMUC for inviting me today to speak. One thing's for sure is I was sitting in the very seats that you all are sitting in just 2 years ago. And knowing that I received my master's degree from such an incredible university, it is overwhelming to know that I'm able to come back here and be your commencement speaker. In that very seat 2 years ago, I was 2 weeks away from competing for a dream that I spent 7 years preparing for and not knowing in that moment what the future holds. So today, I will be telling you all a very short story about Deshona, a young dream chaser, and where it all began. In the summer of 2009, I was 19 years old, working a summer position at Target between my freshman and sophomore year at undergraduate school. I was working in the women's clothing department, and I noticed a lady staring at me from across the aisle. I figured she probably had a few screws loose, so I attempted to ignore her very intense stares. She eventually manages to make her way a little bit closer and closer to me where I was working until she eventually walks up to me and says hello. I say the famous Target quote, which is, "Hi, may I help you find something?" So now anytime someone says that to you all in Target, you know it's their job to say it to you. She then asks me, "Were you born in this country?" And I was immediately offended. And I said, "Yeah, I was born in this country." And then she says, "Do you have any kids?" I said, "No, I don't have any kids." She then asked me if I was married, and then I said, "No, ma'am, I am not married." She says, "How old are you?" I said, 19. "May I help you find something?" She then says, "You are the most beautiful girl I have seen." And I said, "Oh, thank you." I didn't work that much on my makeup, but I did the best I could, but thank you. And then she says, "I think you could be the next Miss USA." And I stare at her in pure disgust and said, "Pageants? You're telling me pageants, like Sandra Bullock, Miss Congeniality. Pageants? You think I should compete in pageants? I'm in the Army, okay? We don't do pageants in the Army." She then asked me to meet her at Starbucks the very next day before my next shift at Target. And she just wanted to do a little bit of explaining when it comes to what pageants is. And apparently I was a pretty open-minded 19-year-old because I actually agreed to meet her the very next day. The next day, she brought this foot-tall stack of pageant books and proceeds to convince me to enter into a state pageant 3 months later. For those who do not know, when it comes to Miss USA, you have to win your state first, okay? So 3 months later, I compete in my first pageant, and I lose. I go back the second year, compete in the state pageant. I lose. Go back the third year, compete in the state pageant, and lose. Go back the fourth year, compete in the same pageant, and lose. I go back the fifth year, y'all, compete in the state pageant and lose. But guess what? I go back the sixth year. Guess what happens? I lose. I called her on the phone and said, "You told me I could be the next Miss USA." And she says, "Deshona, keep working, don't quit, keep going back." And in June of 2015, she passes away from leukemia. 6 months later, in December 2015, I win Miss District of Columbia, USA. And 6 months after that, in June of 2016, I become the first soldier to win Miss USA. And you all already know where I'm going with this. At times, our purpose drops in our laps as if the heavens threw it by accident. I ask only one thing of you all today after you leave this building, after accomplishing an amazing goal. Do not fear failure, but please be terrified of regret. As giving up is the birth of regret. After you walk out this door, you will receive 100 doors shut, slam in your face. You will have 100 moments that will be filled with someone telling you no, or telling you, thank you for your application, but we regret to inform you that we've chosen a different candidate for this job. You will sit in 100 different interviews and you will not get the job. The reality of life is that we will all hear more no's than we hear yeses. And we will fail a lot, and I mean a whole lot. But what I ask of you today is to not take no for an answer. Don't be afraid of no's. Be afraid of the possibility of a yes that you have prematurely destroyed because you decided to quit before the clock strikes 12. You can ask anyone, friend, family, anybody. I love a good no. Please tell me no. Telling me no is like adding fuel to a fire that is now set ablaze because of your single no. I love additional reasons to work harder. Please give me a reason. So today I challenge you to fight, to work, to not stop here, to believe so heavily in your aspirations that you too will not fear the word no, but instead you will choose to welcome it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Deshauna, for those inspiring words and for joining our graduates at today's ceremony. May we have one more show of appreciation for Deshauna? Graduates, this is a day to look back at what you have learned in order to achieve this goal. It is a day to look around with awareness of those who helped you achieve it. It is a day to look ahead to a brighter future because of the investment you have made in yourselves. As adult learners, you have faced unique challenges in your journey. In many cases, you arrived at UMUC with families, jobs, and a host of life experiences. Most of you have not had the luxury of being able to study throughout the day and to take your weekends off. You have had to make time for your studies, and that meant taking time away from other responsibilities. It has not been an easy road, and we know that. So speaking on behalf of your professors, let me say how proud we are of your achievements. On this day, you don't need role models. Today, you are the role models for us and for everyone in this arena. Today, you prove you have what it takes. And what it takes is the courage, fortitude, and perseverance that you exemplify. We congratulate and honor you. Each year, the university selects a member of the graduating class to speak on your behalf, someone who represents the unique attributes of UMUC students. And today's speaker certainly fits the bill. When he auditioned for this speaking role, he was leading a relief mission in Puerto Rico in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, and had to hike several miles to an elevation where he could get a cell signal, after which he delivered his speech from memory. Today, Juan Perez graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Management Studies, and we are delighted that his beautiful family joins us in the audience in celebration of his accomplishments. Ladies and gentlemen, here to share his remarkable story. Please welcome a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps and of multiple combat tours to Iraq and Afghanistan, Juan Perez.
Yes, I hear you Marine devil dogs out there. You are fired up. So we're going to turn up this motivation this morning because I need to get motivated this morning. I'm nervous. I'm up here. My first time doing this. Actually, I only had one rehearsal yesterday, and it seems quite different because there's actually people in the chairs today. So when I say motivated, you say dedicated. Motivated. Dedicated. Motivated. Dedicated. When I say dedicated, you say motivated. Dedicated. Motivated. Oh my God, that is exactly what I needed to get the show started. So, good morning, UMUC graduates, distinguished guests, faculty members, President Javier Mieres. Yes, I can roll my R's, I'm Puerto Rican. And most importantly, out of all the family and friends that have been here today, that took time out of their schedule to show up, which is very important. It has been quite a journey. We couldn't have done it without you. I want to thank all the active duty members. I want to thank all the veterans, past and present. But I want to take a moment to remember a few of my friends that didn't make it back, so I'm going to read their names. PFC Leroy Sandoval Jr., PFC Brandon C. Sturdy, Lance Corporal James B. Houston, PFC David P. Burridge, Lance Corporal Lamont N. Wilson, Lance Corporal Quinn A. Keith, Lance Corporal Michael J. Allred, Corporal Joseph C. McCarthy, Corporal Mick R. Nygar-Bukowski, and Corporal Christopher S. Ebert. They didn't make it home, but I asked God to keep them in heaven safe, and I asked God to continue to protect all of us, not just the veterans, but everybody, our families here, at home. And when you guys deploy, I know it's tough because I know I've had to deploy several times and I miss time away from my children. Both my wife and I are veterans. She's Army, I'm Marine. If there's any equation that I remember out of any mathematical problem here, it is U.S. Marine plus U.S. Army girl divided by 5 children equals a grenade. So a few months ago, when my wife graduated from UMUC, I visualized myself on this stage. I was really proud of her, by the way, and I still am, babe. I said to my wife, man, I really want to be up there, and I really want to share my story, because I feel that I can connect, because it's more than just the academic journey. It's more about a life journey for me. And I think the combination you'll be able to appreciate once I get into my actual speech. This is just improvised, doing some Marine stuff here. You have to see yourself doing it. Life isn't going to be easy. You're going to reach obstacles. Life is not promised. You got to fight for it. You don't want to take your dreams to the grave. So you got to fight to make a difference. So, like any Puerto Rican person, you ever seen them little Puerto Rican ladies like, mira, look, I got these pictures of my son, you know? He's so cute, right? And I wanted to show you a picture of who I once was. This is me in a detention center, probably like 1996. And I don't know if you can see it, it's small, but look at that young thug right there, right? I can't even recognize him. But a man named Brother Tim saved my life, and you'll know who Brother Tim is because I promised him that I would share his name and his faith in others with the world. Brother Tim saved my life. This was later, years later, all right? I get to pass it to my son. He showed up for me like you guys are showing up for all these wonderful graduates here today. And then because of that, I was able to survive. And this is my family today, which I love with all my heart. I live for my children. I got a poem that I always like to share with people. Hopefully you can take away something from it. The message is don't quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill. When the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a failure turned about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up though the pace seems slow. You might succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup, and he might have learned too late when the night slipped down how close he was to the golden crown. You never can tell how close you are. It might be near when it seems far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem the worst that you must not quit. So I carry this here with me, and it's the Puerto Rican flag. And this flag has been through a journey. A few months ago, October 22nd, my crazy Marine Corps gunny friend of mine calls me one day and says, "Hey, JC, my wife can't run past 8 miles. I need to do this run, and there's nobody else that I want with me other than you." I said, "All right, let's do this." "Well, how far is it?" He's like, "It's the Marine Corps Marathon." I'm like, "All right, well, when is it?" He's like, 2 days from now. You see what I'm saying? Don't quit mentality is gonna get you through it, whether you believe it or not. I can attest to that because when I ran for 26.2 miles holding this flag with a little boombox playing tunes here, the whole way with my good friend up there, we stuck together. We didn't quit. This flag, I represented something. I represented the Marine Corps. I represented Puerto Rico, or Puerto Rico. So, I want to tell you a little bit more about this flag. This flag also came with me to Puerto Rico. I took it with me when I went on my journey to help others out there. I linked up with other veterans out there, Veterans Disaster Relief Group, other awesome people who helped me just fulfill my mission, and it was to help and serve others. But the flag has history, and it stands for something, and it stands for resilience. I learned something while I was in Puerto Rico. I learned that the people are just so resilient and are willing to survive. So I took something away from that, and I continue with my journey. But it hasn't always been success. What you see in front of you is failure, right? You see success, I see failure, but it's a failure in a good way because I finally have accepted my failure, and because of it, I have done great things. So here's my story. Success is failure turned inside out. For many years, I struggled with accepting defeat. I was ashamed of who I once was. A born and raised New Yorker, raised in the ghetto. A Puerto Rican with only 3 options in life: jail, drugs, or death. I was a middle school dropout with no moral support. There was no father figure in my life to set me straight. My mother suffered from depression and took more pride in stacking garbage into a tiny studio apartment. It was a place I dreaded calling home. I never had my own room. My bed was a pile of garbage infested with rats and roaches. Today, we know this illness as hoarding. These conditions forced me to the streets, and if I continued down this path, I would soon become a product of my environment. For 3 years of my life, I was institutionalized into a juvenile system where I was beaten and abused day in and day out. I bear scars of a memory I can still see today. For the first time in my life, I quit. I lost hope, and I never thought that I would have ever had a chance, so I stopped trying. One day during the cold winter of 1996, my life changed. A man named Brother Tim Jones filled the shoes of a father. When I look back 21 years later, I can proudly say he saved my life. Brother Tim is a dedicated Franciscan. They are a group within the Catholic Church who emulate the life and ministry of Jesus Christ. In short, they give up everything to serve others. When Brother Tim first walked into my life, he never cast judgment. He never made me feel apart. He was always a genuine, kind-hearted, and loving person. He listened to me, and before I knew it, one visit turned into many. When I was at my lowest, Brother Tim showed me compassion and believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. Brother Tim got me into a GED program which I successfully completed in 1997. This was my golden ticket out of the ghetto, a new milestone in my life that opened up the doors to a future I would have never imagined. Meeting Brother Tim wasn't just about finding a lifelong friend. You see, every time he showed up for me, I learned a life lesson. I learned how to love again. I learned how to be compassionate. And finally, I learned that if you believe in yourself, you can achieve greatness. I always told Brother Tim that I would tell the world about him, so I dedicate this achievement to you. I love you, bro. I always dreamed of becoming a U.S. Marine, but with the amount of education I lacked, there were setbacks that prevented me from reaching that goal. I was my own worst enemy. I failed the military aptitude test not once, not twice, but 4 times. And I finally met a recruiter who directed me to college. He says, son, if you want to get into my beloved Marine Corps, you better get your behind back into college, go to school, and bring back 15 credits. I thought about this for a while, and when I finally came to terms and said to myself, I will succeed, this does matter to me, and nothing is going to stop me. It was at that moment that I discovered my ability to commit to something and see it through. I used to work at the World Trade Center, and when terrorists struck the Twin Towers, I was there to help New York City when it most needed me. It is a day I will never, ever forget. My commitment now turned into determination, so I enlisted into the United States Marine Corps, and I served my country in a time of war. Who would have known that a young man with no options will one day be out saving the world? I look back and say to myself, there is no such thing as coincidence. There is only purpose, faith, and determination. You see, in order to succeed, thank you. You see, in order to succeed, you have to start with believing in yourself. Chipping away at school since 1999 has seemed like an eternity, but it has been well worth the ride. I am here today looking at defeat and saying thank you for shaping me into the man I have become. I remember attending UMUC courses while stationed in Afghanistan, rockets flying overhead and exploding just a few hundred meters from our location. I look back at UMUC staff with such admiration for their selfless acts of courage. They put their own lives at risk so that people like me could get an education and make something of myself. I am forever grateful for the people in my life who helped me along the way, for if it wasn't for you, I would never ever be able to tell my story. Today I am no longer ashamed of whom I once was. Today I know that I was supposed to make it through the storm. Today I am here to tell you that you can change for the better. You can endure more than you think. It just has to matter to you. As a father to 5 beautiful children, Nikaya, Jonathan, Darius, Hannah, and my baby girl, Sophia, and a husband to another beautiful veteran, Tamika Joy of my life, Perez, I say thank you for sticking by my side, and I love you. Thank you, Brother Tim, for inspiring me not to be better than anybody else, but to be better than the person I used to be. Thank you, UMUC, for providing me with the opportunity at home or abroad to follow through with my commitment to succeed. Today I walk in memory of my brothers that never made it home from the war. I walk for Puerto Rico. I walk to bring awareness. I walk to tell a story that will inspire not just my children, but to tell a story that will plant a seed of hope and bring change. So I leave you with this. Never give up on your dreams. The goal is closer than you think, even when it seems far. We just have to push through the storm.
Thank you, Juan, for sharing your remarkable story. You are amazing, and we wish you all the best.
Hurrah!
And now the time has arrived to present our graduates for individual recognition. Today, we will call the names of our master's, bachelor's, and associate candidates and confer those degrees. Every name we announce is of great importance. We ask for your courtesy as each person is called so that all of our students and their guests can enjoy their special moments. Graduates, please remain on the floor until all of your colleagues have had their opportunity to cross the stage. And then our president will confer your degrees following the presentation of all graduates. Dr. Catherine Close, Vice Provost and Dean of UMUC's Graduate School, will now present our master's degree candidates. Dr. Close.
Thank you, Provost Palmiero, and good morning to our graduates, distinguished faculty, and honored guests. We will now present the candidates who are earning the following degrees: a Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Business Administration, Master of Education in Instructional Technology, Master of International Management, and Master of Science. The hoods they wear symbolize this significant achievement and the investments they have made in their future. I ask that you join me in recognizing these outstanding women and men as we acknowledge their academic accomplishments and wish them well in their professional endeavors. We are very proud of you. Candidates, you will now be directed to the stage for individual recognition. Please remain in your seats until invited to come forward. Let us begin with the first graduate.
Peter Kofi Akin. Henry Curtis Adamson. Adebowale M. Adegboyega. Latifa Agunbiade. Naomi Adumakwa Ajan. Ogadinma Ahiwe. Lunas Adjumobi. Tamara Chantel Allen. Tamika Anderson. Brian Applegate. Francis Marie Astorino. Okioma Patrick Osegwu. Abe Arcio. Antoine Armstrong. Mary Angeline Kennedy Oth. Ololua Oladele Ayelegbe. Julie J. Babcock. Weldis A. Bays. Alexis Victoria Barnes. Manoj Balakrishnan. Cynthia Yvette Barnett. Andrew Alicia Baskerville. Kendra Tanette Bates. Estoire Victoire Bea. Vanessa Beatrice Bell. Fernando Eduardo Bernal. Alton Bigelow II. Rhonda D. Billingsley. Frances Isabella Blango. Henriette Blodgett. Annette Fasua Boama. David D. Botello. Natalie L. Bransky. Kenrick Briggs. Juliana Camille Bino. Shelley Renee Bynum. Octavia Annette Bird. Beverly Elaine Calloway. Dia Akini Campbell. Sean Carney. Jason David Carlson. Kathleen Chofor. Ava Christina Clark. Jaquila Charvatis Conley. Jatina Constine. Bonnie Elizabeth Conyers. Anthony Joseph Convertine, Jr. Tanea Monet Cosby. Lakeisha March Kraft. Kevin David Crane. Rakib Emiri Craig Sr. Carly Marie Criado. Mia Shanae Crosby. Rebecca Lauren Crow. Nancy Elizabeth Cuenca. Ed Anthony Cueto. Jennifer E. Cullen. Latoya Latrell David. Christy Lynn Davidson. Gregory Jamil M. Dawson. Katia Laron Dean. Patrice Lauren Days. Nathaniel Walde de Bebe. Rebecca Decker. Okay, David Danchuku. Nelson Jose Marano de Sousa. Bizaye Halajorgis Desta. Kenya Destima. Loralee Marie Diestro. Damaris Antonio Dotson. Roseanne Catherine Douglas. Teresa Lene Dyson. Susan Marie Eckes. Abigail E. Ebenezer Jalasho. Isambe Ekonteng Elad. Marcus Tatum Evans. Colin Fagan. Calasancio Salvador Fernandez. Helen Fields. Taylor Douglas Fink. Gregory John Flemons. Marklin Leonard Francois. Isaac Francois. Shane Nicholas Fraley. Kevin Trevon French. William H. Garcia, Jr.
Lindsay Kara Garnett. Emefa Kokui Bedema. Berhanu Gutema Geda. Victoria Yutunde Gold. Moriah Leanne Goodman. Amma Williette Gerber. Benjamin Gould. Nacy Carice Grigsby. Marquita Chantel Guest Speaker. Gertrude Danae Jones Hairston. Jessica Masha Hall. Peter J. Hahn. Candace R. Harrison. Marshall C. Harry Jr. Tiffany Lynn Hegarty. Stacy Shalon Henderson. Matthew David Hendricks. Stacy Lynn Hill. Gustavo Hinosa Jr. Timothy Dwayne Hood. Gwendolyn Horton. Sheree Hewley. Adewumi Atobatele Ibaranke. Michael Efenur. Ranald G. Imperial. Akitombe E. Lori. Oreji Iroha Agwu. Agnes Eva Irving. Hopel M. Jackson. Cassandra Lee Johnson. Ayesha Olutuasin Johnson. Halima Johnson. Brashay Akia Jackson. Keith Malone Johnson Jr. Wardell Ronald Johnson. Amal Lincoln Jones. Shanika Lynette Jones. Sijal K. Kalidas. Zachary Lawrence Callis. Catherine Dominica Cartalis. Martin Kimathi Karithi. Ishai N. Kamara. Stacy Lynn-Marie Katstenstein. Lydia Musata Kengwa. Jessica Nicole Lasker. Samantha Lee Klein. Charles Koyopep Kojo. Sadahev Koraila. Thomas Robert Kracheko. Victor S. Kuznetsov. Pia Cha. Gina Elizabeth Lamour. Sarah Kathleen Lane. Clarissa Ann Lang. Jessica Sarah Lobb. David Darnell Lawson. Brandon Lee Lecoq. Denise Marie Lee. Stacy Lee Kerbin. Yolanda Lefwich. Janet Lynn Lewis. Bekele M. Liddy. James Edwin Liggins Jr. J. Carson Limbasia. Jacqueline Lene Logan. J.B. Lopez. Naya Lachey Long. Shawana Marcel Lauder. Matthew Michael Lowy. Michelle Ann Mass. Lamika Jonai Santi Maji. Donna Mason. Carlton Bernard Matthews II. Elretha Matthews Woodard. Erica Diane May. Emmanuel Yang Mbati. Samantha Rose McClellan. Patrick James McCormick Sr. Quincy Adam McCurry. Kevin David McGee. Thurman Eugene McGilvery. Yamika Gabrielle McRae. Reba Phelps McVeigh. Allison D. Meads. Anitra Meads. Shelley Marie Menier. Rora Michael. Whitley Miller. Dwayne Allen Mitchell. Terrence Dion Montgomery. Alicia Mortley. James Leslie Mosley. Anna Palmer Murphy. Benjamin L. Murphy. Amanda Nareen. Tamika Charmine Nelson. Robert Guo Nkita Jr.
Jennifer Lynn Ocampo. Kimberly Dawn Oliver. Veracia Oliver. Ashley Aller. Abram Outlaw Jr. Benjamin Owusu. Jacob Aaron Pace. Paula Powell Cave. Rashana Shakia Parhans. Felicia Renee Paul Elias. Abiola Jason Pedro. Jessica Suzanne Perez. Marvin Leonard Perez. Devana Francesca Phelps. Michael Ann Priez. Kelly Ashton Pritt. Aaron Anthony Provito. Erica Simone Pulley Hayes. Megan Rebecca Rapp. Wesley Hilton Ray. Wendy Jill Rayner. Jason Stewart Reed. Shannon Carolyn Redding. Kareem Rashad Redman. Elsa Reed. Jasmine Renee Rice. Erica Latarsha Richardson. Charles Richburg Jr. Rochelle Robinson. John Edward Rothamel Jr. Joanne Rosario. Shambria Monique Sanders. Nadine Shaq Sewell. Matthew Carl Schwimmer. Jody Marquette Scissors. Benita Faith Scott. Michelle Shands. Adrienne Rebecca Scherer. Margaret Helen Simmons. Jamila Lewis Smith. Luke Huntington Smith. Centrell J. Stanton. Wilson Rennell Sterling III. Alexander Gregory Stone. Latanya Therese Sewell. Shelley W. Taylor. Justin Turnant. John P. Thomas, Jr. Sheena Thomas. Lindsay Siobhan Thomas Twyman. Michelle Lanice Thompson. Sandra Beth Toledo. Bianca Josefina Valdez. Carrie Ray Valencia. Melissa Vargas. Alicia B. Vonner. Leonardo Paez Vieira. Barbara Watson. Dominique Nicole Wellens. Passion Wales. Cassandra White. Teresa White. Andrea Simone Williams. Samiko Patrice Williams. Amira Safia Wilson. Fonlin Webra Etienne. Warku Bogale Waldemariam. James Andrew Wood. Carla Lene Wright. Ken T. Yee. Abibal Talahan Zaleke. Marneem Iqbal. Jacqueline Lachelle Williams. Andrew Kingu Debonge. Udoka Olive Anel. Ezekiel Nathaniel King III. Chelsea Varn-Sadale. Diodon M. Mwaha. Philip A. J. Mack. Freddie Raul Pujolos Jr. Vicky Shireen Barham. Emmanuel Nziki. Denise Janae Morris.
Congratulations. At this time, Dr. Kara Van Dam, Vice Provost and Dean of the Undergraduate School, will present our bachelor's and associate degree candidates. Dr. Van Dam.
Thank you, Provost Pamietto, and good morning, graduates, distinguished faculty, and honored guests. It is now my privilege to present our bachelor's and associate candidates. Today's bachelor's candidates have completed degrees in areas including business, communication, cybersecurity, criminal justice, environmental management, public safety, history, and psychology, and others. Over the course of their studies, they have learned to think critically, communicate clearly, and work collaboratively. Let me also call special attention to the bachelor's candidates graduating with academic honors, as designated by the gold, blue, or white honor cords they wear. The bachelor's candidates will be followed by associate degree candidates who are wearing light gray robes. These men and women have earned the Associate of Arts degree. This UMUC is uniquely offered to active duty military, service members and their spouses, veterans, reservists, and members of the National Guard. And now, candidates for the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Technical and Professional Studies, Bachelor of Science, and Associate of Arts, you will be now directed to the stage for individual recognition. Please remain in your seats until you're invited to come forward, and let us begin with the first bachelor's candidates.
Ashley Acosta. Prasanna Jeet Adhikari. Direje Kumilachu Admasu. Olade Amomi Akonbi. William Jackson Allen. Candace Allgood. Jeffrey Demond Anderson. Brian T. Applegate. Charles Applewhite. Ramatu Ba. Amy Christine Bailey. Chikia Marisa Monique Balthrop. Isatu Barry. Robin Renee Beam, cum laude. Richard Benjamin. Christopher Shane Bickmore, summa cum laude. Cindy S. Blacker, magna cum laude. Perpetual Adwa Boateng. Erica Darlene Bobo. Lindsay Borden. Wilfred A. Botchway. Mulford Carlisle Bodie. Amanda R. Bren. Robin Teresa Brooks, summa cum laude. Leora Nicole Brown. Daniel Brown. Jihan Bryan. Gina Lynn Bush. Kaviana Anika Bundy. Kelly Jean Butcher, cum laude. Lamia Benani. Michael Mabini Kakal. Xavier Giofhorn Campbell. Jamie B. Kawili, magna cum laude. Jonathan A. Castillo. Marcus Anthony Castro. Christina Hinton Cedarberg, summa cum laude. Richard M. Clampett. Cesar Ruben Claros. Jeremy R. Cole. Kalisha Renee Coleman. Matthew William Cooper. Nicole Elizabeth Costanzo. Kristen Monet Cox. Amy Faye Kramer. Christina Ann Crawford. Brianna M. Davis. Rachel E. Davis. Jennifer Lynn Dennis. Andrew Frank Deal, magna cum laude. Letitia Marie Disabella. Scott Michael Dublin. Brianna Denisha Demas. Camille Ioni Duncan. Darius Koku Jamair. Augustin Elias. John Stephen Engelhart, Jr. Summa cum laude. James David Epley, cum laude. Mark Allen Estes. Douglas William Everett III. Monique Farinas. Christina Nicole Ferger. Alexandra Monet Ferguson. Marianne Elizabeth Fiddler. Mary Flagg. Kiana Tanae Falston. Shade Monique Forbes. Amy B. Fox. Furlander G. Washington Gango. Tohib Radebo. Jessica Lindsay Gillis.
Gerard Givens. Monique Latasha Glover, cum laude. Maisha Galloway. Danny Gramajo. Shanae Carleen Grant. Lynette Green. Corbett N. Griffin. Fabiola Gutierrez. Sunny Hong Ha. Ashley Brooke Hall. Eric Christopher Halstead. Anderson Hamlin III. Toby Hanson Brown. Brandon Lee Harbaugh, magna cum laude. Carlita Harris, cum laude. Gina Harris. Grant Bartholomew Harris. Contina Cantrell Harvey. Jerry Dale Hayden, Jr. Rondell Henry, magna cum laude. Heather Yvonne Hill. David Joseph Hines. William Rudolph Hall. Jesse L. Holmes, Jr. Daryl Hideo Holt. Philip Gregory Hoover. Edward D. Hopper. Eric Houston. Fredesca Denise Howard. Robert John Hubauer III. Danny Paul Hubbard. James Hudson. Jason Lee Huffman. Evan Chimobi Ne. Jordan Lawrence Jackson. Luis Manel Harquin. Alvina Abbas Jeffrey. Allison L. Jernigan, cum laude. Lisbeth Johnny. Alicia W. Johnson. Lester Edward Johnson. Maria L. Johnson. Christine Monet Jones. Lauren Nadine Jordan. Fatumata Sadio Kanute. Melissa Rachel Reyes Kang. David J. Toledo. Ayana Kelly. Daniel Patrick Kelsey, cum laude. George Levy Kesselring. Hira Khan. Laverne Naricia Knight, cum laude. Maxime Korsakov. Edwidge Amile Kouassi. Jean-Jacques Assi Kouassi. Aaron Murray. Hunter James Lambert, cum laude. Vanessa Darrell Larby. Kelvin Lee. Nadia Nicole Lee. Victor Cho Lee. Russell Andrew Logan. Patricia L. Lovejoy, summa cum laude. Miriam Lowry. Camilla Mack. Scott Gregory Mellon, summa cum laude. Marcelo Danielle Marquina, magna cum laude. Jennifer Teresa Marquis Caruso. Zachary Adam Marcel, cum laude. Natasha Karina Marte. Antoine Demetrius McCormick. Josie Rose McPhee. Jordan C. McGriff. Hester McIntyre Jr. Natasha Denise McNally. Kevin Misowitz, cum laude. Jacqueline Mkande, magna cum laude. Candace Rachel Mobley. Jennifer Moffett. Francie Alejandra Monahan. Matthew Alexander Morgan. Danilo P. Mota. Sophie A. Mukembu Mavioka. Jason Musser, summa cum laude. William Bertrand Neal.
Daniel Nguyen. Sylvie Niba. Kupoto Bilad Ku. Komi Eden No Kufo. Anna Jade Nguyen. Asia Tatiana Ortiz. Kiyade Matthew Oshodi. Christopher Paez. Dolores Ann Pianagua. Judith Ann Peterson. Joanne Tanner Pereira. Juan Perez. Dolly Annette Peters. Pauline Felix Placide. James Prentice Porter, magna cum laude. Aaron John Pratt. Georgiana Prodan. Ali Jermaine Dimitri Pruitt Sr. John Thomas Punchat III. Philemon I. Reagans. Jeffrey Allen Remsen, cum laude. Kenneth William Remfer. Rocio Reyes. Kendall James Richardson. Carlisle Stephen Rich Jr. Thomas Scott Richardson. Vanessa Lynn Rodriguez. Tiffany C. Rogers. Victor Lee Rowling Jr. Pinwindi Jeremy Romba. Christina B. Riz Mikala, cum laude. Jennifer Gwen Rumberg, cum laude. Christopher Glenn Russo. Jessica Stephanie Salgado. Amy Lynn Richwalski Salmon. Victor Q. Sarimi. Mark Allen Schoen, cum laude. Suk C. Summa cum laude. Tuatna Anwal Cerise. Alexander Serrano. Juan F. Serrano. Jason Brent Shahan. Brittany Colleen Shannon. Brandon Jamar Shockley. Alexander Shushnov. Dennis R. Skelton. Michelle Smith. Andrea Sorto Garcia. Taylor Diara Spencer. Vinod Ranga Srinivasan, cum laude. Paula Cherise Stat. Imani Stanford. Deborah Stanley. Ashley J. Stokes. Lisa Renee Strawbridge. Anasaza Gonzalez Suris. Gerald Renee Tally Hall. John Michael Aceto Tan. Nathan Chiofor Tengufor. Sumitra Raha Tanmoy. Tasega M. Tay. Garen Antonio Thomas. Michael A. Thomas. Kiera Tidwell Stooks. Ferdinand Torres Leon Jr. Matthew Russell Tregaser, summa cum laude. Jason Vasilios Trakas, magna cum laude. Regina R. Turner. Tashawn Pierce Uciade. Joshua Vesperas. Juanetta Walker. John Warshaw. Christopher Tanny Ward, magnum cum laude. Ruth Victoria Washington. Michael Dwayne Waters, magna cum laude. Jacqueline Watkins. Natasha Antoinette Watkins. Timothy L. Watkins, summa cum laude. Candy Welch. Samantha Jo West, cum laude. Antoine Eugene Whitby Sr. Shanika Nicole White. Tiffany Michelle White. Christopher N. Williams. Theodore Williams. Vernelda V. Williams. Lauren Lee Williford. Evan Lavoy Wingfield. Robin Herschel Wood. Jamal Wright. Antoine Lamont Young. Jessica D. Young. Thomas Stephen Yurkovic, cum laude. Leah Marie Zahn. Tina Cooper. Ed Fabre. Owultosin James Oleore, magna cum laude. Frank A. Boyd. Andrew Christian Jones. Amanda P. Maldonado. Frank Biore Onzimizi. Yolandra C. Reagans. Stephen Kevin Thomas. Jamise Bianca Wilson.
Congratulations to all the candidates. Will all of our graduates please rise? President Miyares. President Miyares, in accordance with the recommendations of the faculty of University of Maryland University College, the deans and I request that you confer upon these candidates the degrees as in each case is appropriate in recognition of their successful completion of all requirements.
Under the authority granted by the State of Maryland to the Board of Regents of the University System of Maryland, and by that board delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you your degree as in each case as appropriate, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations, graduates.
Now, to symbolize your new status as graduates of University of Maryland University College, and on the count of 3, please move your tassels from the right side to the left side of your caps. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations! Before we conclude with the recessional, I invite you to join us in the singing of our university alma mater, led by Jessica Lasker. The words to the alma mater can be found on page 12 of your program. Will the audience please rise?
We honor you and thank you for all that you have done to help us on our journey and make us all as one. So, with this song of glory, let's say your name aloud. UMUC, UMUC, forever standing proud. The time we spend together at night or in the day, in many different places, at home or far away, unites us and then guides us. Now we're your precious jewels. UMUC, UMUC, the dearest of all schools.
You may now be seated. Thank you, Jessica, for that beautiful rendition of our alma mater. And now, UMUC graduates, as you go forward from this day, wear your UMUC pins with pride. We look forward to your continued relationship with our university as new members of our worldwide and lifelong alumni family. Once again, congratulations.
The recessional will now begin with the platform party, followed by the faculty and then our graduates. We ask the audience to please remain at their seats until the recessional has concluded. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your cooperation and congratulations.